Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda, and welcome to our channel. In another very contentious, very tense, and somewhat bizarre exchange between the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and the Republican senator from Kentucky, Rand Paul. Dr. Fauci said this, and by the way, this is very unusual for Dr. Fauci to say, but he said this, I quote, "Rand Paul doesn't know what he's talking about, and I want to say that officially." This is a very intense exchange, folks. Now, before I show you the clip, I want you to know that Dr. Anthony Fauci clashed with Rand Paul from Kentucky, and he accused the senator of lying about the role of the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, the role that the NIH played in funding controversial research in Wuhan, China. In fact, during a Senate Health Committee hearing about the federal response to the pandemic, Rand Paul said that the NIH illegally funded research, believe it or not, which then led to the creation of a highly dangerous and transmissible virus that was able to infect humans. This is an accusation that Rand Paul has made before and Dr. Anthony Fauci has denied. But just recently, Rand Paul actually implied that Dr. Fauci had previously lied to Congress and that he was fully aware of what the Wuhan lab was doing with grant money that came from NIH. To which Dr. Fauci simply responded, "Senator Paul, you don't know what you are talking about." Wow. Let's roll the tape and watch this contentious exchange between Senator Rand Paul and Dr. Anthony Fauci. Let's watch.
Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress.
Microphone.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about. Okay, you get one person.
Let's read from the NIH definition of gain of function. This is your definition.
Yeah, that was intense, right? As you can see, Rand Paul cited an academic paper that showed that the lab was conducting illegal research to, I quote, "create potential pandemic pathogens that exist only in the lab, not in nature." And this was something that Dr. Fauci denied, and you could see that he was starting to get visibly frustrated. Again, he said, I quote, "Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, and I want to say that officially." To which Rand Paul responded, cutting off Dr. Fauci, "How can you say that's not gain of function? It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic." That is what Rand Paul said to Dr. Fauci. And Dr. Fauci said this, "If the point that you're making is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award creating SARS-CoV-2, that's what you are getting." And this is what Rand Paul responded. He said, "We don't know, but all the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab and there will be responsibility for those that funded the lab, including yourself." And Rand Paul said, "Nobody is saying that the viruses that were created in Wuhan caused the pandemic. The lab was still conducting gain-of-function research that was funded by NIH. Gain-of-function research basically is a type of research that takes place in labs, and this is about NIH funding that potentially led to the creation of the pandemic." Folks, there is no proof, absolutely zero proof that this is indeed true, but this is a kind of misinformation campaign. This is the kind of dangerous propaganda from troublemakers like Rand Paul from Kentucky that does lead to problems. Dr. Fauci said this, "I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating, Senator." Wow, pretty intense comments between Senator Rand Paul, an elected official by the people of Kentucky, a Republican senator from Kentucky, and the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci. So my question for our viewers and subscribers is, where do you stand in all this? What do you believe to be true? Do you believe that this emerged from a lab? Even more to the point, and by the way, that was the purpose of this contentious exchange, even more to the point, do you believe that the funding for this lab came from the NIH, the National Institute of Health, and essentially came from the American taxpayer? Well, I want you to know that I believe it's all nonsense until we have definitive proof. Folks, I don't want you to believe in dangerous propaganda. I want our viewers and subscribers to appreciate facts, and I know you do, but I just want our viewers and subscribers to know that this kind of dangerous propaganda from Republican senators without proof, these kinds of insinuations, and that too insinuations against our top infectious disease experts, are dangerous for the country, and I believe misinformation is a new form of danger for our country. And I believe that these Republican senators, troublemakers, are doing a lot of damage by essentially coming up with claims like the NIH proposed funding, or the NIH actually funded a lab in China that then led to the emergence of the pandemic. Folks, I mean, what's next? Are they going to say that we're conducting research of alien organisms and then these aliens are going to essentially inhabit the earth? I mean, come on, where does this stop? This is kind of getting ridiculous when it comes to the Republican senators, and I would urge all our viewers and subscribers, please use your judgment to separate the truth from fiction, to separate the truth from propaganda, including the big lie, the big election lie. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. This right here is the one and only Senator Rand Paul. There he is. He doesn't look very happy, but guess what? He's never happy because he's always complaining. And there is Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's trying to do the best he can, keep up with all the nonsense and the shenanigans during all these Senate committee hearings and deal with clowns like Rand Paul. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I assure you that Senator Paul, when he watches Ignition Time, I'm not sure he watches Ignition Time, but when he watches Ignition Time, he clicks the like button, and Dr. Anthony Fauci does indeed click the like button. He just told me that this morning. Not really. I'm trying to bring a smile to your face in this bizarre world that we live in this yet another episode of the DC Comedy Hour. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the DC Comedy Hour. I appreciate you. Once again, please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would really mean a lot to me and my phenomenal video production team of Joseph and Jeanette. I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.